Peekaboo glitter nails with only dip powders and dip liquids. This has been one of my most requested videos recently, and you know I had to jump right in and do it for you guys. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. Today we are doing one of my most requested videos. I am so excited for doing Peekaboo nails. I've only seen it done in tutorials with gels, like using gel glitter or builder gel, something like that. And I want to figure out a way for all of my nail friends who cannot use gels or just don't want to use gels to do a gorgeous Peekaboo mani. Now, first we're going to start out just doing the glitter dip nails. When I first showed that picture, you saw 3 of my nails had a glitter dip on, and this one is so gorgeous. It shifts a ton of different colors, so I thought it would be a really good option for a Peekaboo. Then it would really make the nails I do the Peekaboo on pop. I thought about doing 5 nails Peekaboo, but I was like, that sounds like a lot of work, and I'd probably get too frustrated to do 5 nails, so I decided to just do 2 and do 3 of my nails with just glitter. If you know me, you know that sometimes I make a mess of nail art too. When I try something new or want to do a design, I typically don't tend to go for all 5 nails. I'll do 2 to 3 of a design just so it's not so much to do. And if you're new and you're struggling with nail art or designs like ombre, things like that, start out easy on yourself. Start out with 1 nails and then move up to 2. And if you really like it, 3. I think I've stamped like twice on all 5 nails. I don't typically tend to do anything on all 5 nails unless it's just a 1 color mani. So whenever you're dipping glitter, you want to pour it into either a dip cup or a cupcake liner and lay your nail flat into it. And this glitter is not chunky, but it's not fine. I would say it's like a medium glitter. I don't know the exact description for it, but if you're dipping either fine or a medium glitter like this, you want to get as many of the glitter pieces on each layer as you can, compared to if you're dipping chunky glitters. For chunky glitters, you don't want to get all the glitters on your nail at one time. The chunky glitters, you want to just get like a majority of your nail covered with the first layer, and then on the second layer, you want to pick up more of those chunky pieces. So with these kind of glitters that are like a medium glitter, then you can lay your nail flat both times, and it should be able to lay down pretty thinly, and then you can just go through and press it down with some masking tape and be good to go. Now we get to do the Peekaboo nails. I knew that I was going to ombre at the back because that's where you want the Peekaboo, back towards your cuticle. I wasn't quite sure which of the 2 ombre brushes I have that were going to work better. I have a true ombre brush and then this little tiny eyeshadow brush from, I think it's Wet n Wild it is. And I wanted to just try with that little one. I tried with the small Wet n Wild one, and then I went with my normal ombre brush that I like to do my 2 color ombres with, and it ended up being a nice combination to use both of them. But if I had to use just one, I would say stick with the fluffier ombre brush. That worked a little better. Then when you're doing a Peekaboo, you don't want to cover your whole nail with the glitter, so I tried to pour some over and see how that would go. But what I wasn't thinking about was every time I tapped my nail that I was going to get some glitters down into my pink that I poured over. Like, definitely didn't think about that. I contaminated my shimmer pink right off the bat, but you know what? Luckily, I had only done a little bit of it, so I just knew that I couldn't pour that amount back in. Then I went to my ring finger and tried tapping with the fluffier ombre brush first to see how that would go, and then I went in with a smaller one. Doing the combination actually worked out really well, and I tried pouring some more in over top of my nail and then tapping the pink shimmer over my entire nail, just getting a little bit of that shimmer back over where the glitter was. Now, I wanted the glitter to pop a little more, but I didn't want to ombre it again because I didn't want it coming down too far on my nail. So rather than ombreing it again, I just put a little bit of dip base back towards my cuticle and laid my nail in the back just to really make that glitter pop instead of doing another full layer of ombre. And that worked so well that you'll see at the end, and you guys saw at the beginning when I showed that picture of how well the glitter was still popping out at my cuticle. Once I did that first layer and brushed it off though, I realized the shimmer that I used was just a little bit too light. I wanted something a little bit darker, so I grabbed another slightly darker shimmery pink to add some more color to the pink area of the, I don't know, I guess this is, I know it's called a Peekaboo, but to me it's almost like a reversed ombre because you're not ombreing at the top, you're ombreing over top of glitter. So I don't know, I'll still call it Peekaboo, but it kind of reminds me of a reverse ombre too. So I knew when I was working on my second nail on my ring finger that I wanted to make sure that I really covered the entire top of the nail with the darker pink. I didn't do a great job on my middle nail, but by the time that I realized it, I had already brushed it off, and I did not want to go back in and make it look uneven by adding too much of the pink in a certain area. So I just went with it, and when I take pictures, there's just one little area on my middle finger that's not quite as pink as the rest of them because I kind of missed it when I was tapping the powder over, but that's okay. We are doing our nails at home, okay? This is supposed to be fun. It's like relaxing. This is our self-care time. It really helps me like focus on what's going on in my life, and it's just so good for my mental health that if I mess up my nails, you know, I use peel base. I just pop it off like a week later, and even if I didn't use peel base, I've left my nails on with a design that I don't really like for like 2 weeks sometimes because I'm doing them myself. So it's not hard for me to go and change them then, but I like to at least give it a few days if I don't like a design, just because I did so much work to do my nails. Like, I at least should enjoy it for a couple days. When you're doing these Peekaboo, you don't want to go all the way back to the back of your nail with the other color. So the color that's going to be on top of your glitter, you do not want to put all the way back, because if you put it all the way back your nail, then you're really not going to see much of the glitter. You want it to kind of ombre over top of the glitter, which is why I did some tapping. You can see the difference in my two nails, which one looks like a more demarcated line, like a straight line across, and one looks a little more tapped. You'll see that at the end. See which one has a better fade of the Peekaboo. In between each layer, I made sure I brushed off all the excess glitter, and I made sure I really brushed off all the glitter on all my nails really well before I went in with my clear dip powder. When I'm doing my clear dip powder on glitter nails, so I consider all these glitter nails, even though the one only has a little bit of glitter on the two Peekaboos, I like to make sure that the clear dip powder is totally covering the glitter, because when I go to file and buff, I don't want to accidentally bump into any of the glitter. I want everything to lay really nicely and not accidentally file down into the glitter, because that can mess up some of how the glitter looks, and you definitely don't want that. You worked so hard to do your beautiful mani. You don't want to mess that up. Something that really helps if you're struggling with the thickness of your clear dip powder over top of your glitter is you can put a piece of masking tape on your other hand like I'm doing, and then press down the clear dip powder into the glitter so it really soaks into there. Once you've done all of your clear dip powder over all your nails, then you can go through and activate and wait until that hardens. When I'm using these OG dip powder liquids, I like to do 2 layers of activator on each nail, like right after each other. So I dip into the bottle, rub the activator all over my nail, dip back in, and rub the activator all over again. It just seems to help my nails harden faster. Some activators don't harden as fast as others. These are a little bit slower in hardening, so doing those kind of 2 layers of the activator, one right after each other on the same nail, really helps to make it harden faster, I've found. Then you can go to town on your buffing and shaping and filing, and if you applied your dip liquids thinly and poured the powders over, made sure your layers were nice and thin and even, you shouldn't have to do much in the way of buffing and shaping and filing. Now, if you're sitting here thinking, Nicole, I am so not ready to do Peekaboo nails or any kind of designs yet, like I'm still struggling to apply my dip powders, make sure you check out the link in the description. I just launched my huge Dip Nails 101 course that will walk you through everything you need from prep to application to removal for your dip nails, and it is over 45 pages with tons of detailed instructions and pictures and everything you need to really help you learn how to dip your nails at home. Now, my mani is getting top coated, and this is my favorite part of when I do my nails because then I get to see what it looks like at the end. I am using dip liquids to top coat. Some tips that you want to do when you're using dip top coat, you always want to float your dip top coat over your nails. If you press it too hard into your nails, you can often harden it. Even sometimes for liquids that are really hard to contaminate, like these OG ones, they are very hard to contaminate. I honestly have never contaminated them with the top coat hardening because I always float my top coat over. I realized a long time ago, like, I'm way too messy of a dipper not to float my top coat. If you want your manis to last a really long time, make sure you cap your edges as well. That will seal the mani in and seal that top coat in over your dips really beautifully to give you that long lasting look. If you're not ready to try Peekaboo and you just want to do a normal glitter ombre, then make sure you check out this next video where I go all over to do how to chunky glitter ombre. Thanks so much for joining me today, nail crew.